Hi, everyone. I have decided to do a series regarding health and how our health impacts our calling and our purpose. So, with that being said, the first thing that I would like to speak about is our mental health. Series to come, it would be mental health first, and then not in this exact order, but physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, and financial health. I am not an expert in all of these fields, but I am speaking from experience and how these different aspects have impacted me. So, to start with mental health, I chose this one first because I'm fully aware and also studying in mental health and with almost 4 degrees. I know, of course, and I believe we all know that our behavior and our actions stem from our mind and our thoughts, unless there's some sort of disorder taking place. So this means that we need to have a healthy mind in order to produce something that's useful. So this also includes our thoughts. So our thoughts must be healthy and meaningful in order to put out something that contributes to the well-being of others and to ourselves. So I would like to talk a little bit about myself, my experience with this. So some symptoms that I noticed in myself that my mental health was not as healthy as it should be. So random irritation and anger, just randomly getting mad, randomly remembering things and then lashing out about those things. Isolation, I wanted to be alone. I did not want to be bothered. And then which I am an introvert, but in those times I'm just an introvert to, play it off. Really just not wanting to be bothered by anyone. Overeating or not eating. My weight has yo-yoed so much because of an unhealthy mind. Ruminating on bad thoughts. This is the main one because it takes up so much time. We don't even realize how much we think. We sit and think about negative things. And if we sat and thought about positive things as much as we think about negative things, there would be a major shift in our lives. Sadness, avoidance. So that's me saying, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm good. Like, what do you mean I'm moping around? Things like that, knowing that something was wrong. And then just laziness, just not wanting to do anything, just wanting to just stay in bed or just not do work, basically. The symptoms gave me insight to some things. So what I thought about my purpose and myself, those things that I allowed to impact me, the things that, just those things that I allowed to get into my head. And to be honest, a lot of those things were from the enemy getting into my head and me allowing it, me not taking my thoughts captive. So this kept me from reaching my purpose because I was not allowing myself to look above my current situation as the Bible instructs us to do. I was focused on the negative that was right in front of me. I wasn't able to understand that these circumstances was not where God wanted me to stay. It was definitely a lesson. It was a place for me to learn, but it wasn't where God wanted me to stay. And being stuck in those symptoms kept me there longer than I was supposed to, just as the Israelites not doing what they were supposed to do kept them stuck in the wilderness for way longer than they were supposed to be there. So my mind was also closed off to the kingdom, which means, of course, it was closed off to God's voice and not completely. Of course, I still had a relationship with God, but it wasn't where it needed to be. And I wasn't I wasn't allowed access to what God had for me because I just wasn't ready for it. So it took me letting go of some things in order to make space for other things. So I guess, for example, like holding on to 10 rotten apples, nothing else could fit in my hands. Holding on to those negative thoughts, nothing else could fit in my mind. I couldn't think of anything else. But until I let go of those rotten apples, I was able to get a fresh apple from God. And since then, He's been constantly providing me with fresh apples as long as I continue to listen and let go. So what did I do to transform and walk into my purpose? Journaling. That was something that I did while I was in my circumstances, but even more so when I got out, and it literally led me right into writing a book. Positive and uplifting music. I love music. I sing, and so that's something that really impacts me deeply. Community. Like for me, it was going to church, meeting new people, seeing the growth in the people around me and allowing their growth and what I see to impact me and inspire me to do better. Prayer and reading the Bible. I chose to create myself a prayer closet so I can go in there and just read and pray and just be away. And then reminding myself of who I was and utilizing affirmations, which I hear many people use affirmations, so that's a really good one and it worked for me. And then just sitting in solitude. So at first I wanted to be isolated. I wanted to be away from people, but then it turned into I need to be quiet. I need to separate myself so that I can hear what I need to hear. At first, there was way too much noise going on in my head, but whenever I utilized solitude, it allowed the right kind of sounds to come in, the voice of God, the ideas from God to come into my mind and shift my way of thinking, shift what I was doing. So basically, with that being said, in order to gain all that is for us, we must maintain a healthy mental status. Of course, you're going to get blessings. Of course, you're still going to get things from God. But to access it all, we have to be healthy. And we have to be able to receive it, basically. So some resources that I used, I went through a course type of thing, but it was a small group. My church utilizes small groups just so that we could have community, because it is a big church. We went through a book called Battlefield of the Mind, and I'm sure that many people have heard of it. We went through that book, spoke about it. It has helped me ruminate on good thoughts, take my thoughts captive whenever those negative thoughts come into my head, asked to be renewed or transformed by the renewing of my mind, different things like that. And then reading Live the Let Go Life by Joseph Prince, which is amazing. And I recommend those two books to anyone. And then, of course, if you all have resources for me, because I'm always growing, please let me know and please share under this video. And thank you for listening.